can't just leave.
Protecting the church is more important.
This is Sexy Scientology Part 2. So last time we were talking, we had a whole list of things here, as you can see. And as I pointed out to you, you can be a murderer and still be a Scientologist in good standing, but you cannot be a homosexual and be in good standing. And a lot of people get very picky with me about this and say, well, that's not true. Look at Laura Prepon. She's on Orange is the New Black, and she's playing a lesbian. And isn't she in good standing? Well, yes, she's in good standing. And as you can see from the latest Celebrity magazine put out by Celebrity Center International, she is in fact in love with Scientology. And she goes on and on and on about how great it is and how wonderful it is. But her, as the critics are calling it, very accurate portrayal of a lesbian is not winning her fans, I can guarantee you. And I'm pretty sure, I thought after the first season they were going to make her leave the show, but I guess because it was making her money, they wanted her money more than they wanted her to not be portraying a lesbian. But it's evident from things that are happening that she's being sucked further into the church now. Now, very specific areas where L. Ron Hubbard talks about how he feels about homosexuality and how bad it is. One is in Dianetics, and the other is in this HCOB, which you cannot see, but I'm going to highlight portions of you. This Hubbard Communications Office Bulletin is from the 26th of August, 1982, and it is titled Pain and Sex. So in this bulletin is where you're going to get the real dope on what L. Ron Hubbard thinks about sex in general. Not just homosexual sex, but sex, okay? And he doesn't like it, contrary to popular belief. So, he says, very first line here, there are two items in this universe that cause more trouble than many others combined. One is pain, the other is sex. One should know more about these things. They may have applications, but they are used by destructive beings in great volume to cave others in. Now, caving someone in means essentially that you are using your spiritual force to overwhelm another person and cause them, like as if a cave was collapsing in on itself. That's how they would feel spiritually. Like, wow, they just like want to curl up in a ball and die. That's what caving in means, okay? Despite the false data of Freud, psychologists, psychiatrists, and other criminals, they are not native to a being. So it's not native to want to have sex. Just follow with the logic here. They are only artificial wavelengths. They have exact frequencies that can be manufactured. A being or machine can synthesize either one. Okay, so you could, as a being, you could manufacture pain in your mind or sex in your mind, okay? Or you could hook yourself up to a machine that would synthesize those. I'm thinking probably something along the lines of Demolition Man, the little sex helmet that he and Sandra Bullock, Sandra Bullock and Sylvester Stallone put on, and they have their little sex scene. Pain becomes a lock on a being's abhorrence for misalignment of his own electrical flows. Okay, that is a lot of Scientological gobbledygook, basically saying that you get stuck in this moment because you're freaking out about things being not the way that you want them to be, okay? It's a lock upon unconsciousness, which shuts off knowingness. Again, more Scientological gobbledygook, mainly saying that you are making yourself stupid, okay? So sex and pain are making you stupid. All right, it gets better. Hang on. Sex is a lock on and perversion of the joy of creation, which involves a whole being and expands him, but by using just one wavelength, sex. This can be perverted and he contracts. Okay, so just think with that for a minute. Sex is a perversion of the joy of creation. And when you are creating, you're expanding as a being. You're becoming gigantic, bigger than the universe. And when you use sex to feel joy, you are making yourself smaller. So, just real quick, everyone at home, think of how many times you've had sex in your whole life. Okay. For you virgins out there, you're still big beings. I want you to know that. Good for you. For everyone else, how many of you are now basically the size of the head of a pin? Raise your hands. It's okay. Put it out there. It's all right. So this is L. Ron Hubbard's think on this, okay? When pain enters a scene, a being withdraws, contracts, and can go unconscious. When sex enters the scene, a being fixates and loses power. Okay, so sex causes you to become obsessed with everything, whatever, the person, your hand, the porn you're watching, the people you're watching have sex, whoever it is. Now you are obsessed. Okay. Destructive creatures who do not want people big or reaching, since they are terrified of punishment due to their own crimes, invented pain and sex to shrink people and cut their alertness, knowingness, power, and reach. Thus you see people who are experiencing either pain or sex, introverting, and not producing much. Okay, so think on that for a minute. If you're experiencing pain or sex, it doesn't have to be both together. It doesn't have to be painful sex, just one or the other, okay? You are introverting and not producing much. So this is why I'm telling you, every time you get in trouble in Scientology and your statistics go down, whatever your tiny, menial, meaningless job in Scientology is, okay? If you're the guy that licks the envelopes before they get sent out to everybody's fracking, mailbox as junk mail, and your statistic is number of envelopes licked, and that goes down in a week period, then you've got something going on in the sexy time here, okay? Because that is the number one reason why people contract. And they will search for what you're doing sexually that is making you have a lower statistic. Are you masturbating? Are you having thoughts of someone other than your spouse? Are you, are you having an affair? Are you a homosexual? All of these things can now add up to that's the reason why your statistic is down, okay? And they will pound you with questions. When I was a trainee at the Flag Land Base in Clearwater, Florida, there was an ethics officer that every time, without a doubt, no matter why you got sent to ethics, you were late, you missed a target on your check sheet, whatever, something mundane, okay? You were running too fast in the hallway, somebody didn't like how you looked at them, so they wrote a report, so you ended up in ethics, okay. Number one thing, he would put you on the e-meter, you'd hold the cans, and he would look at you and say, do you masturbate? Because he was German or something, he had a weird accent. Anyway, every time, it didn't matter. You're late for class. Do you masturbate? Like, pretty sure if I was masturbating and that's why I was late, I'm not going to tell you. Or, why would I be running in the hallway if I was masturbating? What does that have to do with anything? So the obsession with sex is carried on down the line basically because of this HCOB. This bulletin right here can explain away every problem that someone has, because anytime you're contracting yourself as a being, it's because of one of these two things, pain or sex. Mostly they want to know about the sex. The pain part, get over it. You're just a bad person. Okay, so he says, I'm going to finish reading this here because it's so fascinating, right? Pain and sex were the invented tools of degradation. Believe it or not, a being can be so overwhelmed by either that he or she becomes an addict of it. Very interesting. Priests become flagellants and cut themselves to pieces with self-whipping. Not so much anymore, but apparently L. Ron Hubbard knew a few priests that were really into whipping themselves. Torturers drool over pain. Lovers are very seldom happy. Now, isn't that just like the saddest thing in the world? Lovers are very seldom happy. So even if you have a happy marriage, if you love your spouse, love them so much, nope, not really happy because sex is bad and it's making you teeny tiny being, teeny tiny. People do the most irrational things when overcharged with sex, and prostitutes use it as a knowing stock in trade. Combined, pain and sex make up the insane Jack the Rippers who killed only prostitutes, and the whole strange body of sex murder freaks, including Hinckley and the devotees of late-night horror movies. Now, pump the brakes. Late-night horror movies? Come on, that stuff is gold. Mostly it's comedy. I mean, come on, those things are so terrible. But apparently, you're now a freak if you appreciate beautiful B cinema. Okay. Under the false data of the psychs, who have been on the track a long time and are the sole cause of decline in this universe, both pain and sex are gaining ground in this society, coupled with robbery, which is a hooded companion of both, may very soon make the land a true jungle of crime. Okay, so now robbery is somehow a hooded companion of pain and sex. So if you enjoy sex, you essentially are a robber adjacent? Okay. Go into an asylum or a prison and look at the increasing institutional population and know what you are looking at. In the main, these are pain and sex addicts, decadent and degraded and no longer capable. They were sent on that route down through the ages by the psychs, and here they are still in the psychs' hands. And do they get well or go straight? Oh no. Whether in prisons or insane asylums, they just get worse. And the psychs in both places rub their bloodied hands as they turn their products loose again upon the remaining population. It's no accident. And the stocks in trade of psychs are pain and sex. They will even tell you it's natural to steal. I'm sorry. No one I have ever met in my whole life has said, you know, it's really human nature to steal stuff. Don't worry about that. You just get in there. Look at Winona Ryder. I don't think anybody was telling her, it's okay, honey, it's in human nature to steal stuff. She went to jail. Come on now. To compound their felony, if that's possible, they tell you it's the body doing it. Another crashing big false datum on top of all their other lives. These are data which emerged from recent thorough research of the whole track. This is not theory or some strange opinion. It is provable electronic fact. The waves are just synthesized. Now, is there a diagram of these waves that he's recorded? Is there a video for you to watch of him discovering these waves where he can show scientifically where these waves are on the spectrum? Has he developed special goggles to see the sex and pain waves? No. Once again, he just stamps it with the word fact, and now it's a fact. It's scientific fact. He's proven it. No research, no nothing. Just his word. Okay. We're almost done, I'm sorry. They are the most used tools in the campaign against beings in furthering the general goal of those creatures whose sole ambition is destruction. The universe does not happen to be either destructive or chaotic except as such obsessed creeps make it. Statements it is otherwise are just more false data from the same suspect authorities. Like, do you love how he puts other people in the quotations as authorities? Anyway, it fits their purposes to make seem natural what they make artificially. The universe only seems that way to a being because such loathsome psychotics make it seem so. They destroyed every great civilization to date and are hard at work at this one. The one thing they can't stand is the light of truth. So despite their objections, one must turn it on them. Only in its glare do their lies wither. It is the potent weapon they can't fend off. These facts may not be very palatable, or even facts, but they could clear up some mysteries for you. I'm pretty sure this whole thing is a gigantic mystery. For wherever there is a mystery, and both pain and sex have been these for man, there are answers. As both pain and sex could have messed up your life, the above may be some answers you've been looking for. L. Ron Hubbard, founder. Now, let's just sum up here. Pain and sex, artificial wavelengths created by the psychs bajillion years ago to make you a small being and control you and make you crazy. Also, to possibly turn you into a robber or a, what did he say? Jack the Ripper, sex murder freak. Okay, so if you are like my baby sister who loves her some horror movies, you better watch it because you are cray cray. And this is what gets shown to you, okay? Every time you decide you have some other idea about sex, like if you like sex, they're going to show you that bulletin. If you choose to stay with your marital partner as a Sea Org member, someone, let's say your wife gets pregnant and she wants to, oh my God, keep the baby, and you as her husband want to stay with your wife and raise your child. You will get shown pain and sex to show that you are making yourself a small being and that your wife, because she's keeping this baby instead of doing the right thing, is being suppressive and making you small. Okay? Just chew on that for a minute. So everything in these bulletins is about whether or not you're a big being. And the only way to be a big being is to create Scientology. Nothing else. Not movies, not art, not love. Forget love. That's a manufactured wavelength that has nothing to do with anything, okay? Lovers are seldom happy. Remember that, kids. You heard it here first from L. Ron Hubbard. So just imagine for a minute growing up in this crazy mess. And as a teenager, when I first jumped into Scientology, I was really a teenager. I was 19 when I joined the Sea Org. And these were the first time I read these things. I mean, I grew up going to public high school. Everybody's making out in the front of their locker. And, it was normal. And then basically to find out I wasn't normal. And that I was a bad person. And that I had been harming myself and other people through making out with them. It's quite the mindfuck. Okay? So, homosexuality, back to the original topic here, and is in there as well, because obviously this is perverted sex, so it's even worse than just regular sex. What I think is the most important thing is I need your help. I have personally been writing to Laura Prepon on a regular basis on Twitter. She hasn't blocked me yet, so that's good. To get her to see the hypocrisy of her current career choices. She is on Orange is the New Black, which in many ways is an avant-garde show, not just because they show a tremendous amount of lesbian sex, and it's very accurate lesbian sex, which I'm sure is why 90% of the men that are watching the show are tuning in, but it's a great show for transgender rights, women's rights, just in general, great writing on the show. These characters are amazing. If you're into television and you're into character studies, the characters and the actors portraying these characters are tremendous. And my commentary about Laura has nothing to do with her acting ability, okay? This has to do straight up with the fact that she is a member of a cult that actively suppresses its members sexually, especially homosexual members, to the point of driving them to suicide, okay, or attempted suicide, and then portrays a lesbian character, and that is how she's making her money. And every time she is paid to do Orange is the New Black for playing a lesbian, that money, her lesbian money, is going into the hate group that is suppressing people. So I beg of you, GLAAD, all of the LGBTQ people out there, please contact your local GLAAD and get Laura. Either Laura Prepon has to leave the show, okay, Runners of Orange is the New Black, or she needs to leave Scientology and start actively really working for LGBTQ rights. That's it. One or the other. Thank you for listening. That is all.